Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 19.
19.
Podcast. Episode 19. Ooh. Medellin. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh. We're gonna be drinking some aguardiente today. For some of those that don't know what that's called in Spanish or what it is in Spanish, they call it guaro here, or fire water. Fire water. Fire water with Brent from Medellin and the Wandering Paisa. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell. Taught them everything they know.
Woo. Yes, this is Andrew Messia with the Medellín podcast, episode 19. I got Joel Dunkin' Donuts over here. Mm-hmm. And we got Brent today. But before we get to Brent, let's take care of some business because you guys can find us on Spotify. I think Spotify is like our biggest platform that people listen to us with. But obviously, video is YouTube. You could also find us on Google Podcasts. What is it?
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and any other platform, really. So if you want to give us a shout out, you could do that also on Instagram or on Facebook.
Yeah.
Find the Medellín podcast.
Or Podcast Medellín, as it's called on Instagram, because Medellín podcast was taken.
Dang,
Motherfuckers.
somebody took that.
Yeah, but still.
Is it even active?
I don't know. We don't care about the haters.
Well, go there too and tell them to give it to us.
Yeah, man. Come on an Instagram and join us on the Instagrams.
The Instagrams.
Right? And check out the post. Check out a post. Brent's Instagram's there too if you want to follow him and his weird shit that he does.
Yeah.
Really weird shit.
So
what are we drinking today, man? Before we get into who this guy is sitting
we
between
are
us.
drinking some BBC, Bogota Beer Company. I got this Rubia here. And we're also drinking some Son del Barril.
Yeah.
From Santa Elena.
These guys were on the show a few weeks ago, and we've taken a little liking to their beer. And so we're sipping some of that today. And everything's local today, man, as usual. I mean, not as usual because we drink some Mexican stuff. And what do we have over here? Something that I don't think any of us have ever tried.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show of enlightenment. This is, what we got?
We've got Aguardiente Antioqueño, but it's called the Real version or the Real barrel.
And in English, that translates to real shit.
Yeah, real or royal.
Real shit.
All right.
I prefer real shit.
So, Brent, every time you hear an annoying alarm,
Okay.
we will have to take a shot.
Okay. Sounds
Just
good.
I don't think the alarm's that annoying. I mean, Felipe crafted it by hand from beginning to end, so it's...
Yeah, it's less annoying. It used to be really annoying. Now
No, he didn't craft it. He downloaded it.
Sounds good.
Royalty free.
So today we have a great guest, one of our great friends, probably one of my oldest friends in, apart from Joel, Brent Murillo, Juan Cano.
They're not talking about our age. You're talking about how long he's known us for.
Yeah, so I've known Brent for like 8 years or so?
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, you were like one of the first people I met here.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Brent Knowles. I'm the owner of the Wandering Paisa. Also in the band, the Wandering Inmates, with your friend Gio.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a lot of wandering today. And so prior to this, I want to jump ahead. It sounds like you were in porn or something before. Or
Yeah, I was in porn.
Sounds like that voice is a little pornish. A little porny. Right?
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Hey, I'm Brent Knowles.
Hey, I'm Brent Knowles.
Damn.
Welcome to... No.
Got me all wet.
Yeah. All liquefied and shit. So yeah.
Yeah, so Brent, I guess we'll kick it off. Today's podcast is going to be about a little bit about business because obviously he's been the owner of the Wandering Paisa hostel in Laureles, which is not like the main touristy area of Medellin. It's one of the touristy areas near the stadium for 8 years now, is it?
Yeah, we'll be 9 years in December 21st. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Gonna have to have that party.
I'm going to have that party. I'll
Yeah,
see you
for
guys
sure.
there, man. It'll be good.
You doing the Wandering Paisa Chiva this year also?
Yeah, on Friday the 13th.
Oh, back-to-back Chivas for me then.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about business, talk about his lifestyle, dating, safety in Medellin. So we could start right away with Joel's. Do you have any questions about his business?
Well, I don't know if I want to. Before we get to the business part, we ask most people why Medellin. How did you end up here, and when was that? Basically, what was your introduction to Medellin?
Well, my introduction to Medellin, it's kind of a long story, but hey, that's why I'm here, right?
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. Basically started in 2010. My brother was living in Argentina. Our story starts in Argentina. He was thinking about opening a hostel there in Argentina. Okay. We had a friend who was opening a hostel. We wanted to see kind of what the situation was. And there's just a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy. And we found out in Colombia, I've been running into people when I was backpacking. I did a lot of backpacking, pretty much from like 2006 to like 2010, long time ago. Yeah. But I met a bunch of people from Colombia, and everybody's like, yeah, what you hear about Colombia isn't actually correct. Come visit, we're safer than you think. So those kind of things are going on at the same time. My brother's like, I want to start a hostel, but Argentina's not really the place. And everybody's just saying, come to Colombia. So it just kind of all came together. And I think December 2010, this was January 2010. It was earlier than I remember. The hostel opened in 2010, December, but we came down in January 2010 and we absolutely loved it. I mean, Colombia was great. There's actually a funny story. So everybody told us, they're like, you're going to love Colombia. When you get there, everybody's going to be so nice that you're almost going to be like put off because people are going to be like inviting you to their fincas. They're going to be inviting you to things. So we get off the plane. We're in Cartagena, right?
What year is this?
This is 2010, January. Okay. So we get off the plane. We're walking around, my brother and I. We put our bags down in the hostel. We're in Getsemani. And this guy off the street is like, hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, like good English. We're like, oh, cool. This is Colombian, speaks English. He wants to be our friend. Let's, keep an open mind. Mm-hmm. And he's like, come with us. Like, we want to meet some girls. And my brother's like, yeah, we like girls. Yeah, this should be fun. You guys probably know where this story's going. This is a common thing. So we follow him. We go into this bar. It's immediately suspicious. It's all just a bunch of hotties. The door immediately closes. This big dude from out of nowhere steps in front of the door and he's like, do you guys want something to drink? And we're like, I guess we got to drink something now. Yeah. And basically we just had to order whatever's off the menu. Sounds easy, right? Do you know how much we paid for a beer? It was at least $20,000. For a cerveza each. Wow. And my brother and I, we drank those cervezas like so fast, our hands are like shaking,
Because you're scared of being in this place?
Yeah, it was basically a prostíbulo, a brothel. Yeah. Which is fine if that's what you're looking for, but it was just like, we didn't want to, be there exactly. But 5 minutes, in our first experience in Colombia was a little different but we had a really good trip the rest of our time. We went to Manizales. We loved it. We went to Bogota. It was really great. The whole coast was really fun. But there's something funny. I actually did not like Medellin when I first got here.
Why is that?
And, I'm not a Poblado hater or anything like that.
No. Go ahead.
But I stayed in a hostel. The hostel doesn't exist anymore. But I asked them what to do, and they sent me to Hooters. That was it. Yeah. Hooters is fun. It's fine. But it's like, I didn't come to Colombia to be sent to Hooters. I'm like, what's the touristic stuff?
But that was 2010?
That was 2010.
Because I think 2011 or 2012, Miss Hooters International was from Medellin.
Well, there you go.
I don't know how I know that, but that's a fact. We can look it up later.
So yeah, I had fun. I did my thing in Lleras, and I thought Lleras was a center. I had a really good time, but it wasn't like, I was like, oh, I want to live here and start a hostel here. It was a different thing. I was looking for more like kind of nature stuff and hiking and just other options and stuff like that. And so I went back to the States because this was on my winter break. I was in grad school, and my brother stayed here. And he just stayed in the Estadio and he loved it. And he's like, look, man, going back to he was like so insistent on the hostel idea. It's like the hostel. I'm like, man.
Oh, wait, how old were you guys?
I had to be 23, 24.
Wow.
But he kept being like, the hostel, let's do it. And I'm just like, man, come on. I'm in school. Let's not do this. And he came up with a really good business plan, great vision. We got Gisela involved, who's still with us, really great employee. And basically, he convinced me to do it.
At 23 years old?
At 23, 24, yeah.
That's a ballsy move, man.
It was ballsy, ballsy. Yeah, it was cool. And then, so basically, he really liked Medellin, and what he wanted to do was show people the other side of the city. Poblado's great party scene. We're in Poblado right now. It's awesome. But there's also alternatives. In any big city, there has to be more than one tourist area. Yeah. So the idea was to kind of basically show another area to people. And it was a great idea, and we had a lot of help from a lot of really cool people. Gisela, my brother's wife, actually helped us a lot as well in the process. And we opened December 2010, and it's been pretty good since then.
What's
Woo! On that note,
2010.
2010.
2 years after I lost my virginity. Wait, did I just slipped out?
That's funny because I got here to Medellin in 2010.
Yeah.
Cheers.
That's the 2010 club.
2010.
Yeah,
That was the year I
2010.
decided to leave Canada.
All right.
I didn't leave. I decided to leave. I left in 2011.
Yeah. So wow, that's pretty amazing. So now, do you live in Laureles? I know that the Wandering Paisa is in Laureles. Do you still live in Laureles?
I still live in Laureles. I actually live now in Second Park, Laureles. I've been living there for 2 years now. I moved up, business doing well, moving on.
No, like George and Wheezy.
Right.
So obviously, for having owned the hostel for over 8 years, going on 9, things are good.
Things are really good. We were very fortunate because we put the hostel in a different kind of neighborhood, so we didn't have to compete with all these really great hostels in Poblado. It was basically just kind of us and a few other ones. So it's like everybody's like, of course, people are going to go to Poblado, but it's like you want the alternative. We wanted to be the number one.
That's how you marketed it.
And that's how we marketed it. I mean, on our cars, it said like the other side of Medellin, all that stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we've actually probably seen very similar evolution of Medellin. What's your take on what Medellin was like back in 2010? Now going on 2020.
It's interesting because Uribe was still president in 2010, right?
Uribe, yeah.
And so things were a little bit different. I mean, he ran the city a different way. And in some ways, like I remember it was actually safer in 2010 than like kind of when it got to be 2012 when Santos came to power, because he had to legalize everything, and actually like, so if people were getting robbed on the corner of the street, Uribe would just like send some people out and like, that'd be fine, take care of it. Yeah. But then like under Santos, like we got to have these papers and, we got to figure out like all this statistical data to get a police officer here on the corner. So there's kind of that transition, but now I think it's gotten even more safe. It was just kind of this transition.
I never even actually thought about that. Actually, like you were mentioning the politics of it, because I don't really talk much about politics, but to be quite honest, I got here in 2011, even 2011, 12, I think like call it the early years. I don't recall a time. I know like up in the hills, like you don't go past Santo Domingo and walking around or whatever, but at least around here in Laureles and stuff, I never really heard about, like people getting robbed or like just a lot of insecurity. I felt pretty damn secure here. I remember my first impression was like, this is the Colombia that's supposed to be so scary. And I think like now I'd feel a little more insecure, or maybe it's because I know more about the inner workings of the city. Right. But I felt like a lot safer in 2011, 2012 than I do now. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird. Never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a rough kind of transition, but that's how a lot of Colombians feel too. I honestly didn't see a lot of it. I did. You guys are going to get to the question later about the robberies, or should we get into that now?
Well, wherever you want to go.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a follow-up question there because talking about like the evolution of Colombia and the city, how it's transformed. For you guys, obviously, you guys are near the metro.
Oh yeah.
And have you heard about the new line that they're doing on
the 80, right?
On 80.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Why will it be awesome?
Well, it's just more connectivity. I mean, one of the things I love the most about the Medellin government, what they've done, because all the governments here steal money, but you know what they say about the governments in Antioquia and Medellin? They steal the least amount.
Yeah.
And good. So like you see the results of where that goes. And one of the coolest projects that they've done is they've really invested like in their people, connectivity. So it's like you live up in the mountains or whatever, you probably the best jobs are in the center. So how are you going to get down there if, there's these really steep, kind of ways? So they built these cable cars. Yeah. And it actually has worked. It's been really good for these people. Right. And it's the same thing with like the 80, it's getting people from one direction to another fast. And
because there's basically like a whole section of Medellin right now in that area that literally has zero access apart from the local buses, whether it's an Uber or a taxi or someone riding a bike, which is all of Belén. Right. Which is huge. Belén is huge, and Las Americas and all that, past 90, but going south, right? So that's going to connect everybody there, which will be amazing. Hopefully, it reduces traffic too.
And it's funny, the connectivity thing's huge because, again, like coming from 2010, 2011 to now, when somebody comes here, they see Medellin in a totally different light
Right.
than we did. And one of the things that I think, like, at least in the early days, Andrew did, I did a lot more of was like volunteer and stuff.
Right.
And I actually volunteered on one program with La Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Cena, right? That's the name?
El Sena.
Sena, yeah.
So it's free. They provide like free education to a lot of people. And one of the projects I was doing was one guy, an American guy, was doing carpentry up in the like way up in the hills, and El Sena had their own carpentry programs and stuff like that that were free to these folks. And for a lot of them, the transportation just to get down there, the cost alone, which is like a minimum amount, we're talking about 50 cents, maybe $1 to go back and forth. They didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So we've got the transportation being too expensive. And then two, the funny thing is like we that live down here, you're talking about the other side of Medellin being Laureles. We live in Poblado. Those guys up there, I got to talking to them after a while. And the people that are in this carpentry program. And, one of the big reasons they don't come down here is because they're actually afraid to come down here. And I'm talking about many people I spoke to, and they're like, man, I can't, I don't like going down there. I feel out of place, and I feel like people are judging me. And it's sort of like there's these micro worlds here in Medellin, like
Right.
Poblado, it's its own little micro world.
Yes.
And we don't know anything that's going on up there.
No.
And we're looking at them like, oh man, I don't want to go up there. I might get robbed or I might whatever.
Yeah.
They don't want to come down here
Wow.
because they were like, man, I don't want to go down there and be there because people will just look down on me and so just even the connectivity, and the point of that is that the fact that transportation can bring them back and forth really quickly, so they can run out of there if they need to. I think will help a lot to integrate the city a lot more, even on different, call it economic communities and groups joining together. And so I mean, like now they can probably take like the cable cars and like the what do you call it, tranvia and stuff like
Tranvia.
that much faster.
Tranvia is
than before.
awesome.
Yeah, I love the Zambia. Yeah, that's it's been obviously a huge change, but I guess going now back to business. So you've had the hostel since 2010, going on 9 years. I guess my question, and probably a lot of people watching would want to know if they were interested in starting a business in Medellin or specifically in the hospitality, like a hostel or something. What would something like that? I know it was 2010, but do you have any idea how much it would cost or how much of an investment someone would have to take in order to just get something off the ground, like a hostel?
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of business capital-wise. I mean, I can only talk to my experience.
Right.
I mean, basically, mine is a little bit different because my brother and I bought the property. It was roughly $100,000. So, obviously it's appreciated since then. And then we had to, maybe another 20 for just startup costs and stuff like that. But I think if you're just trying to start a business and you're not trying to buy property, I don't know, maybe 40,000. I mean, it's different. I mean, for my brother and I, it was investing in real estate was kind of the number one business.
Number one thing, yeah.
And then the secondary is just the hostel keeps it going. It helps pay for repairs. It's actually been a really cool investment. I wish the dollar wasn't getting so strong, but
Right, yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you do have dollars, but you're living here and making peso, so you rely on the local economy. And when the dollar gets strong, it's not like you can convert it back. You're not going to convert it. But
what about? I mean, there's stuff like not PayPal. There's like Hostel World and these sites.
Yeah.
Oh, but they only take like a deposit, like a 10%.
Yeah, commission, and we don't get that.
You don't get that. So you can't. I mean, one of the ways of getting dollars is to have them pre-book before they get here and pay.
Yeah, you can do that, but it's a very small percentage.
Actually do that.
We do accept PayPal, but at the end of the day, I still have to pay my employees with Colombian money. So we need Colombian money to go in there.
Here.
It's just it's. I mean, to answer your question a little bit more too, is starting a business in Medellin is actually a lot easier than a lot of other Latin American countries. Because you're allowed to start one as a foreigner. Yeah. There's a lot of ones where you have to be a national. It's the same thing in Argentina. That's one of the reasons why my brother was like, let's go to Colombia. Because in Argentina, you got to be a national.
You do?
Yeah.
So a foreigner can't go over there and start a business?
I mean, at least this was how it was in 2010. I mean, I'm not sure how it is now, but that's how it is in a lot of countries. There is a very good business relationship that Colombia has with the United States that makes it such a good business environment. So one of the things that, I mean, business wise, and I think I opened the wrong one for you.
Yeah,
but
it's okay. I'll leave it open. I'll leave it open. Can you open this one actually?
So one of the things that I like to ask, and I like to make clear to a lot of people, and Andrew said, what about if somebody wants to come here money wise or whatever? A lot of people might have just the exact amount of money they need or whatever. What was it like? Tell us about, let's call it your first 2 years, then 5 years later. What was business like for you starting a hostel here? Like, when did you flip a profit? Like, when did you, what was it like?
Yeah, or like growing pains, I guess.
Yo, we had a lot of them because basically, especially in 2010, you're going from that transition where things were just run differently. And, the Santos government was really trying to make things more legal. So you had a lot more paperwork involved in any sort of business processes you were doing. And so we had 2 different lawyers, we had an accountant, and our goal was always like, we don't want to pay any fines and we don't want to pay any bribes. We want to do stuff legally. Man,
that's
expensive.
That's expensive.
Well, speaking from experience, we're literally on that same boat. When we started, 5 years ago? Almost 6 years ago. We literally made that pact. We're like, we're going to do everything above the board, but it's cost us. But in the long run, no one could ever come to us and be like, look, show us your paperwork. We'd be gladly open our doors. Here's your paper.
But it does drive costs up. I'd say about 40% probably. Your operating costs will go up about
big time.
So one of the things that I found from a local business here, which I will not name, they're a big business. They make a lot of money. Where I was like, because I was getting into this, so I asked them, so you guys make so much money, you guys must be paying a shitload of tax. Your employees, everything. And then they're like, yeah, well, we have one set of books and then we have another set of books.
2 books.
Yeah, so our accountants keep 2 sets of books, one that we report on and one that we really don't report on. And I'm like, wait. I'm never going to go down that route because first of all, I'm not that smart and I'm a bad liar.
Yeah.
So,
and the advantage is you can sleep at night.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing here. And that was one of the hardest things, especially for the first 2 years, was just knowing what the law was.
Yeah.
Like my lawyer, she was in like this group, basically the equivalent of like a WhatsApp app back in 2000, or WhatsApp group chat. I don't know what it was, like an ICQ or something, whatever they were using back then. Yeah,
that was ICQ, by the way, people that don't know that.
Yeah. But she was in a group that would basically notify each other about the law changes because everything was, and she'd be like, this year we got to get this document. It would be like a treasure hunt of documents, go to this notary, this, and what's this for? I don't know, but we need it. Okay.
They kept changing. There'd be what are it called? Amendments.
Amendments.
And it kept happening. Visas and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was basically a little bit of a nightmare because here my brother and I, we're trying to figure out like all the things that can happen with guests. Because in a hostel, so the thing is, you work in a restaurant, right? You get a difficult customer, they're a pain in the ass, but they eat their hamburger and they leave.
Yeah.
Right? But the problem is, if you're in a hostel, you get a pain in the ass customer. Who knows how long they're going to stay? They're living with you.
Yeah.
And so we had all these crazy things happen, which was like lack of imagination, people trying to bring back hookers to the dorm rooms. It's like, what are you going to do with a hooker in a dorm room?
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
What the heck's going on here? And so all this stuff we're dealing with, plus like legalizing everything, like finding all these papers. We had 2 different lawyers, one for employees, one for like all the tax stuff. It was kind of a pain in the butt. And to answer your question again, you asked about when we kind of went into started making money. Actually, is probably our 3rd year. And then our best years were probably between year 3 and year 7.
That's when I started bringing all them students.
Yeah, that's when you start bringing the students in, man. That's what happened.
What was like year 3? Talk about year 3 for a second. So year 3, which is a rough year, is that when you guys are like, did you ever reach the point where you're like, fuck, I might have to shut this shit down or sell it, or did you never get there?
No, we always, like by year 2, we had a couple moments where like, kind of paying the bills. But, my brother and I were working a lot of shifts, so our employee, kind of expenses weren't as high.
Okay.
I was working the bar, I was working, night shifts, whatever. It was...
Working night shifts. This is the Brent working the night shift. Yo, and you said something right there. Let's take this back, which is so funny. You opening a hostel in, call it the developed nations or whatever. It's different than opening in a place where, for example, prostitution's legal.
Yeah.
So you just said guys trying to bring like hookers back to the hostel.
Right.
I bet like Canadian and American folks that have never really been, and even some other countries where it's not legal, they wouldn't even consider that being a problem. Like, how do I deal with the clients that want to bring the prostitutes in?
Or how do I deal with clients doing blow in their room?
Yeah.
There's so many things that can happen in running a hostel. You really you just have to have a really good imagination. And even then, you won't even cover 50% of all the crazy crap that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could go on. We could fill like a 3-hour radio show on all the crazy shit
Well,
that's
all right,
happened.
we're going to bounce back to that in a second, but what is the craziest shit that's ever happened in your hostel?
Most recently, because honestly, man, it's all about the most recent crazy thing that happened. But we had, this was during the feria last year. So actually, this is like the longest time it's been since a crazy thing happened. Knock on wood.
Yeah, there you go. You can use my hand.
Knock on the wood. But this girl in the feria, man, because we have these concerts on the 70 during the Feria de las Flores. That's like a really cool festival. Yeah. And we have these really cool concerts on the 70, which is a street right next to our hostel, like the party street. And they had a free concert. And this girl, who actually wasn't even staying in the hostel, she was dating one of the guys in the hostel. She did some blow. And she also was like drinking. And I don't know what else she did. And she just like flipped out. And he was trying to bring her back to the hostel to calm her down. Yeah. Man. She went straight up to the castle because she thought people were coming after her. We have that little upstairs area called the castle. Right, it's like the terrace. Yeah. And she climbed up there, climbed onto the roof, went right up to the edge and just started looking down.
No.
Really?
Like that. And my receptionist like basically had to talk her down. And that was like crazy because like, she falls, man. I'm like, that's
You're
bad.
fucked.
Yeah, I'm screwed, And so, she did a good job. The receptionist did a really great job, handling the situation. But it's just like that kind of stuff could happen any moment. Granted, I got everybody trained really well to basically now if you got to figure out who's a guest and who's really high on drugs. And if they are, But, she'd only been there for maybe like 6 months and she did a great job. Yeah, she talked them down.
Wow.
But yeah, we've had crazy stuff. People have fallen down and cracked their heads open, just, slip being drunk and, all that stuff.
Holy shit.
And this one guy, he cracked his head. And the crazy thing is they don't have public ambulances here unless like the person's dead. It's like, okay. So we call him, we're like, this guy's bleeding out his head. And the ambulance is like, no, we're not going to come. And it's like, well, what do you mean? This guy's bleeding out his head. Yeah. It's not an extreme case.
Not extreme case.
And so we work with an organization now called EMI. And EMI sends an ambulance. And I got to pay a monthly quota. But the cool thing is they train my employees unlimited amount of training a year. I'm basically doing a plug for them right now.
EMI?
Yeah, EMI. EMI, they're a great organization. Yeah. But they teach us how to do like CPR.
Use the porn voice, Brent.
Yeah, exactly. But they teach us how to do like CPR and stuff like that. And I can sleep at night because I know if somebody cracks their head open, an ambulance is going to come and bring them in because I don't want a guest to die in the hostel. You got like an
emergency EMI button or what? How do you get?
We just call them. Yeah, they'll come like right away. Okay. We had a guy get beat up in a club and was like bleeding and he was resisting treatment and we had to call him in and forcibly give him treatment. Wow. It was crazy. I mean, there's all sorts of things that can happen. We've had the cops try to shut us down, which is crazy. Oh man, now we're getting the stories. Now we're busting open the stories. I'm gonna have a little sip.
But the funny thing is, I had pipe dreams of
let me taste
2010.
Taste this one.
2010, 2011. I thought about that. There was one or two things: a bar or a hostel. And I had some money set aside to do the hostel thing and the bar thing. And I think I'm pretty happy I didn't go down either route.
Yeah.
I'm really like, I think like, especially when you're like at that time, I was 30 and you're like 30 years old. It's a great point. You're a little more mature than the youngins. And you got some business experience behind you and stuff. But man, I think like, especially when you're traveling and you're backpacking, you see a really cool hostel or a really cool bar. You're like, I could do this.
Exactly.
But you don't see what's going on
in the back.
You're like, I could do this, man. Right. I would not. I mean, I worked in tourism also, but in higher end places.
Right.
And even in the higher end places, you got fucked up shit. Yeah. Like, I was working in the Rio Palace in Cabo San Lucas, and we told people specifically, this is like desert sun. Please do not go in the sun between this hour and this hour. We do like a little orientation. This guy, a larger dude, little speedo and shit, American guy, and he went out and he laid on the wall by the pool. There's a little wall thing. Just laid there and he fell asleep for 2 hours. And I've never seen somebody like literally like red like that thing. And he had to be, because they couldn't even touch him, he had to be helicoptered out of there. Like, I'm dealing with this. I'm like, wait, I've never even seen, I don't even know what to do in that. And at that point, and this happened like for a week straight with me with different things happening. I'm like, fuck this, man. Not even a chance. So like, power to you people, the moms, the dads, and the hostel owners of this world. You know what I mean? You guys have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, now that you said, you're 30, and it's like when I was 24, 25, I was like, fuck yeah, man, I'm gonna go out with the guests. I'm going to go crazy.
Yep.
And we did.
And we did. And that's
Yep.
the thing, like year 3 and 4, once the hostel started to turn around, make some money, I had some extra cash flow. I I was single, I was hanging out with Andrew, man. We were just like, we were going crazy. But the thing is, like, it's hard because the guests come, and for them, every day is like, it's like fucking Friday. Every day is fucking Friday. So they're like, let's go out, let's drink. And you're like, maybe I do want to drink, and like, maybe I'll call up some of my friends. And it's just like, and I actually had a time where I started to get sick because I was drinking too much.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember. I kind of dropped off the face a little bit. I was like, man, because like I was getting sick. Like my body just couldn't handle drinking Tuesday. So then I kind of had to step back and chill out a little bit. But now I'm like 34, and it's like my relationship's totally different. I'm just like, oh yes, let me know if you need anything. Welcome to the hostel. And like to the point where like maybe on karaoke nights, like later tonight, we have karaoke, and I'll probably drink a little bit, but maybe like twice a month I drink in the hostel now, just because like for my own health reasons,
Yeah,
I was in that position too, man. 1 year guiding tours in Mexico, and I counted 4 days in 1 year that I didn't drink, because it's everyone you take out on the tour.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, we love you. Let's grab some drinks tonight. And you're not even making money at that time. When you're not making money and those free drinks, and you see these guys flipping their wallets, you're like, I'll go out and go
Let's
out.
do it,
and then the next day it's a new group, and it's a new group, and it's a new group, man. And I was like scared for myself, man.
Yeah.
I was like, so I feel that. And so what about now? Like if somebody, I think Andrew asked it before, that was cost wise. What if somebody were going to try to open a hostel in Medellin, what would your advice be?
Good luck. No, no, really. We're a little oversaturated with hostels now. I mean, you got these mega ones, and they're great, over here in Poblado. But the scene has definitely changed. I mean, these last 2 years for us have been good, but I've definitely had to, and it's been actually a great business challenge, but I've had to be more innovative. You guys have noticed we redid our bar. It looks really nice.
It does look nice.
I've changed up how we do some of the events. I mean, the language exchange is always solid. Like last night, we had a really great crowd there. But just getting people to spend more money at karaoke, which is like,
how do you do that?
It's hard, man, because it's like, I don't like charging cover for events. I don't like the implication, like you must buy. But at the same time, it's like, it's a business. Yeah. So if I'm going to be running karaoke for like, which I'm going to be doing tonight for like 5 hours, when I have people yelling at me, the least they can do is at least buy a beer first.
Of course.
Because they come in with this like entitlement. It's like, guys, like I want to work you in, but you're not buying anything. So like you guys always show up and buy a bunch. Gio shows up, and like all the really cool people. And then some of the Colombians and the other people get mad. They're like, why are these people singing so much? I'm like, because they're spending money.
Why do they get to sing twice and I only get to sing once?
Look at their bar tab. But then it becomes kind of elitist too, because I want to basically have my events be very inclusive, but at the same time I have to be very business oriented.
It's a business.
So it's something that I've had to kind of deal with in the last 2 years, because the economy has been kind of hard for Colombians in the last 2 years. So they're not spending the same amount of money. And it's just been something where I've had to kind of work on being more innovative, changing kind of the events. In karaoke now we have contests, all that kind of stuff. And it's worked. I mean, the new bar, you guys seen it. It looks way better than the other bar.
But wait a second. In terms of business, one of the big things is what's your unique selling proposition? Your unique selling proposition back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe even 16 and 17 was that you're going to show people the other side of Medellin.
Right.
Now,
I think it probably still is.
I don't know. Are there more hostels there?
There are more hostels. There's at least probably 10 in our
Is that
neighborhood
still
now.
your unique selling proposition? Because that seemed to be, you're taking you out of Poblado to show you guys the fondas, the little bars, the whatever in Laureles.
Right.
Now you got more people. You still can show them the other side, but is that your unique selling proposition, or what are you offering? What's your slogan? What are you going after?
That's still our main one, because we want to be basically the number one choice. And because we are the oldest in the neighborhood, that's kind of what we're working with. We also stress kind of the events, because like, this isn't a brag or anything, but I think we were the first hostel to do like a language exchange. It wasn't my idea. It was my brother and his wife's idea.
Yeah.
But they did a really cool job in basically getting on couch surfing and getting people to come to that. And I don't think anybody else is doing it. It was just us and Tinto Tintero that was doing, I think, language exchanges at the time.
Now they're a ramen bar.
Yeah.
They changed. Okay.
Yeah, they're a ramen bar.
But that was old school. And we've been doing that. I mean, our language exchange is one of the oldest in the city. So we kind of have that going on. But the oldest in the city, that's only worth, so much. Because then it's like, oh, well, they're old. Does that mean they're good?
Yeah. So how many beds do you have at the hostel?
We have 32 beds, and it can be up to maybe 35 because, like, during feria, we'll throw people in hammocks, we'll throw them, whatever, and charge them 10,000.
So people can stay in the hammock for like 10K?
10K, yeah.
And do you have private rooms as well?
We have 2 private rooms, yeah. I mean, they both have private bathrooms. They both got TV, Une TV, whatever, all the basic channels.
I'm a private room type of guy.
And that's
in my old age.
Yeah, and that's kind of after 30 for me too. And it's not like a diss to hostels or anything, but like when I travel, I don't do the dorms anymore, man. I just can't because number one, I know what goes on in dorms.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And two, man, I want my own space. But I love because I traveled to Mexico about 3 years ago, and maybe 4 years ago now by myself. And I stayed in hostels and I loved it, but I got a private.
Yeah.
So I was social with the people and then went back to the private room.
Yeah.
Did the same thing when I was in Japan, obviously because Japan is so expensive, but it's just go out and have fun, meet people, and you got your own space. You can just, hang out, watch a football game on your phone and yell and no one will,
No, but the worst is trying to sleep and somebody coming in like drunk and like fucked up. I mean, I remember Casa Kiwi back in the day.
I love Casa
Back then
Kiwi.
I was still like a year in. And this whole thing about not having sex in a hostel room and respecting people. Wait, no, oh God, nothing, Brent, because you have had sex in a hostel room. Because this is what happened. Evolution of the backpacker. Evolution of the backpacker. You start off like, I don't know why these fucking people having sex and it's gross and that's blah blah blah. 2 months in, 3 months in, money starts to go down. You're like, fuck getting a private room. Me and you, we're going on that bunk and we're putting up that little sheet and we're gonna pretend like no one can hear us. We've all done. You have done that, Brent.
I've never done it.
Brent,
I will
then
speak.
You need to live a little.
I will speak into the microphone. I did not have sexual relations inside a dorm room.
I have had sexual relations in a dorm room. I'm telling you, after a while, 3 months in, when my friends saw me, they're like, bro, you look like a hobo. I remember leaving, like, me, I like style and this and that. And they looked at me and they're like, why are your armpit hair so long? Like, shave that shit.
But I'm not finished, though.
Okay.
But I have done it. You know what? This might even be sketchier. I did it in the bathrooms.
Oh.
Yeah, God. I mean, who hasn't?
I mean, this is the bathroom. You just close the door.
But those bathrooms always look like it's a mud floor. And you're like, okay, I did it.
Wait, have you done it in your own hostel?
No, I have not. I actually have not.
What?
I actually have not. No,
What?
I've never.
Brent, I'm gonna have to confess something to you.
You
You've
have.
done it?
I've had sex in your hostel before.
Hell yeah, man.
I've never
I have not
inhaled.
If you guys do want to, I'm sure you're gonna get to the question, but I did date a guy. Oh, okay.
You did. Wait.
What did he do? He did what?
Say what?
I guess I'm saved.
You say what? What? Saved by the annoying song.
I did date one guest from the hostel, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One?
Yeah, just one.
Oh wow,
I mean,
that's a pretty good rap sheet right there.
Well, first off, the guests are going to be foreigners most of the time,
Yeah,
right? So,
right.
And that's cool, but I'm more interested in like Colombian women. I'm in Colombia.
Wait, date meaning like she became your girlfriend?
Kind of. She lived in Manizales.
Oh, okay.
You guys actually met her one time.
Yeah, I
Don't
remember.
call her
that.
one.
Yes,
we don't
I
want
remember
any
her.
names on this show.
I remember her.
No incrimination.
She was hot.
No, but anyways, wait, what are we talking
Well, we're
about?
talking. No, okay, so we're talking about how many beds you have and
How many of them have you slept with people in?
no. But my question, I was leading up to something. So, in order to break even, I guess in a month when you first started, you had to keep how much of the percentage full? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was over 50%.
So
No, I
over
remember. We did all the
50%?
figures. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know you must have because you seem like a numbers guy.
I'm a numbers guy, numbers
Yeah.
nerd.
You're like a Joel. I mean, I love the business part too, but I need someone like you guys to tell me what it is, and then I'll go get it. So it's over 50% full occupancy.
It's not that way anymore, but that's how it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your occupancy?
Man, now this year.
Who would have thought you would have been on a fucking accounting podcast, huh?
No, I know. No,
Oh, yeah.
I got a guy, our administrator, a new administrator. He's the guy who replaced Jasenia, and he's really good with numbers. Like he's a math major,
Yeah,
so
that's
he's like
amazing.
coagulating,
Yeah.
But no, he's really good. But-
Coagulating?
No,
you
that's
said?
actually
called coagulating.
Coagulating. That's like water, man.
Blood. Is it blood? You went calculating. You see. This is when people played
Coagulating my
themselves out of their position on our podcast.
No,
he
no,
was
no.
coagulating some numbers.
He was coagulating.
Oh, yeah. So he's coagulating.
Some word.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, he was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All good.
But yeah, he's really good, and he's helped me kind of come up with some stuff. I mean, our employees in the hostel, shout out to them, are awesome. I mean, we've had the same one. You guys, Gisella's been there since day one.
Yeah,
She
she's
helped us.
amazing.
She's amazing. Andres is great. Everybody's great. They're all really wonderful. And so that's like a big testament. I know this is going off on like a tangent,
No,
but to
no
our
tangent.
success is our good employees.
Everywhere.
Because I have friends that are hostel owners, and they're always dealing with like employee issues. If you don't have solid employees you can trust.
How do you develop? Because we had this discussion.
Well, actually,
go ahead.
Before you go to that, I want to finish my thought.
I'm sorry.
sorry. Because okay, so you've got you needed a 50% occupancy. Obviously, it's different now.
Yeah.
What was your main source of income? Was it the events? Was it the heads in beds?
Yeah, heads in beds always, because like you don't have to buy a new product. I mean, you have the beds there, and it's just getting the people in there.
Okay.
You know, whereas like with you're buying beers, you're spending cash, and that cash is always tied up. You know, and like.
But it's still a capital investment. I actually, talking about that, I met a guy down in Salento, John, that owned anyways, one of the top hostels in Salento. It was one of two at the time when I went, and you know what? His moneymaker for 2 years were bicycles.
Nice.
Because he was a little bit out of the city. So somebody's paying like at that time 12,000 pesos for the night, but they get to pay 30,000 per day for the bike. So you got to bike in 8 minutes, and then you get to bike all around and go see the scenery.
So it's actually more expensive to get the bike than the actual room.
Exactly,
or the bed, right?
exactly. But when you're in there, you're like, I can walk in and walk back, or get a little taxi or whatever. And so he bought just a fleet of bikes, and I talked to him later. But he lasted 2 years. 2 years. Until, of course, there was faster means of transportation or whatever. But he had 2 years of nonstop money because people just wanted these bikes. And then, have you ever been to, it's not Nicaragua. There's a place called, outside of Nicaragua, Zephyr Lodge. I'm going to look it up. But check this place. Zephyr Lodge, there are these like pools, like blue pools in the mountains, whatever, Guatemala. And you go to Zephyr Lodge and there's 2 hostels.
Yeah.
So these guys, I slept in a roof. Like literally, they were making a roof, and you know, like there's a roof like this, and I'm on this part. $1.50 to sleep. It's just me and my friends. $1.50. But that's not how they made their money. If you want to walk out of the hostel, you can go into the little town, but it's some shit food and shit drinks, no bars. So what did they do? They created an amazing bar scene in the middle of the fucking jungle. Like amazing, like great food for the price, and great drinks. And so from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you are just spending on food and drinks. So their model was just a restaurant and a bar.
One-stop shop.
One stop. And so all day, like literally I spent I bought nothing. I walked into town, I'm like, hell no. Yeah. Came back, bought my hamburger, my fries, whatever. And then night, the sun falls, put on the music, and people just start partying with each other. So it's funny that for you here in Medellin, it's such a different model. But in hostels, I've seen quite a few hostels. You've backpacked around the world. They have different business models. You know?
I love the one-stop shop, but you got to kind of be far removed or do something, you know. And that's the thing. I mean, looking back, honestly, I probably, when my brother and I got the place and we were doing like a lot of remodeling, I would have made the bar bigger. Yeah. You know, we just did not imagine that like, you know, there would be that many people coming to languages. And we're like, yeah, we get 50 people in there and we're happy. And now it's like, we can't, you guys have been there. You can't even get to the bar sometimes. And that's great.
You can't knock down that wall right there?
Yeah, we can maybe, but then the people are watching TV. You know, I mean, I've been debating it for a while, but like basically, when we got the place, my brother and I owned, like when we owned the building, we built that little castle area that I was talking about earlier, where the girl went up and almost jumped off. But anyways, the construction people, they basically told us, we will build like a whole roof for you, just 3 millones. My brother and I were so just like, we don't want it.
That's 1,000 at this particular moment. That's about 850, 900 bucks.
But back then, it was
more than 1,000.
And we're like, we spent so much already on startup costs. We're like, we don't need that, whatever. Oof, man, I would have loved to have this rooftop either for private rooms or whatever, because like you get the private rooms in there. I mean, that's one of those things I wish I could do over again. And now the thing that sucks is what happened is like in 2011, Planeación came to the hostel. Yeah. And this was like when somebody was working on us. Like they came on a Sunday. They knew it was like the Sunday crew, and they let them in. And they took pictures of everything. Yeah. And they said, if you guys build anything more, you got to get permits for it.
Oh, fuck. You should have built it earlier.
I know, man. It's just,
damn it. You know who did that? Have you been to Brisa Loca? Ryan. Ryan and Evan. Big shout out to Brisa
Hey, I love those guys. I love
those guys.
California, what's up?
Ryan and Evan, shout out. And we've been using this clip. Yo,
shout out to
here's shots for Ryan and Evan, man.
I love those guys, man. I love their story, too.
Every time we go there. Yeah, every time we go there, we stay there.
Those guys had a rooftop. I remember staying at Brisa Loca. You remember the rooftop? It was just like they had a pull-up bar, some weights, and 2 hammocks. And I show back up, and they turned the whole row. I don't know if you've been back there, into just like private.
Have you been there
cabanas.
recently?
I haven't even been to Santa Marta, but
They
like-
turned that
like
whole
since
roof
then,
into rooms.
I went one time and I stayed there and I loved it. I got to give credit to those guys. They actually helped us a lot in the first process. They sent us an artist. My brother and I both were just always writing them, asking them advice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, shout out to those guys.
Those guys are for real. Like, look these guys up. Look up La Brisa Loca if you're going to Santa Marta. Big up to these guys.
Yeah.
Their establishment now. You guys, man, they're doing some real shit. They basically took over the property beside them I think it's called Flamingo.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a co-working. I still haven't even seen. I saw it when they were in construction. Plus, they've got a place in Palomino. And these guys, you know, they kick it hard. But it's, you know, once again, one of the reasons I asked you the question before is everybody thinks, and even like a 23-year-old who's invincible, probably thinks you're just gonna roll in and things are just gonna fall into place. Like, competition is, well, not back then necessarily, but
now.
Whether it's legal, whether it's you know, bribes, whether it's, you know, yes, changing laws, legal also. There's a lot of crazy shit that every day you got to deal with.
Right.
You know, again, the girl standing about to jump off a roof. There's a lot of crazy shit. So for all those that want to open a hostel, I suggest you really talk deeply to a hostel owner before you go down that route.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to give credit to Evan and Ryan, they just paid it forward. They just were like, we're going to help these guys out in Medellin.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
So it was so great for them to just basically like tell us about a lot of the things that happened with them, basically getting started. So, I mean, that's a really cool thing. And I try to do that too, as like a hostel owner, to tell people. So you're saying people want to talk to me, no problem. I will talk to anybody. I've done that a lot in the last 7-8 years. People who are just pay it forward.
I know.
To
I remember
anybody.
I don't know if you remember, but I had a student that wanted to start a hostel downtown, like in Prado Centro.
Yeah.
And she, with her sister that lives in like New York, and she lives here. She was a student back then. This was like 6 years ago. And I'm like, okay, Brent, can we meet with you, because my student wants to do this. She wants me to build her website and do her marketing and stuff. And at that time, I think I'd built your website too. At that time,
Killer website.
yeah. And then we came into your hostel, and literally, you laid out everything that they would have to do to start.
I remember that.
It discouraged them, and they never did it.
Really? Oh no.
No, but it was
no.
good, because otherwise they would have like lost a ton of money. They had like 10 G's to invest into a hostel downtown. Obviously, it would be smaller than a 30-bed hostel, but they would have probably lost the money if they didn't know of all these. I guess you wouldn't call them pitfalls, but they're
Challenges.
necessary
Challenges.
evils.
Yeah,
you got to go
for
through.
sure.
And back then, the Chamber of Commerce wasn't digital like it is now. If you wanted to start a business now as a foreigner, you could just go online and do it.
But I got to give a shout out to the Cámara de Comercio. That is a well-run organization.
Oh, yeah.
They have helped me so much.
They have advanced so much.
I've had to deal with the Dion. I've had to deal with the Alcalde, all that stuff. And yeah, they're fine, whatever. But the Cámara has always been on point. They've always helped me. So just shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to the Cámara de Comercio.
You have so many shit. I just want to there's so many things I want to ask. You got a good lawyer or accountant?
Yeah.
Call their names out here. Lawyer and
Maria Consuelo.
Who's that?
She's my lawyer.
Maria Consuelo.
Does she
Yeah.
speak English or just Spanish?
Can
Just
you make
Spanish,
sure
yeah.
you put these people, the contacts up, Felipe?
Well, we
on
have to
screen?
help Felipe because.
Well, I mean, remember that in the editing. He's the one that does behind
you
all
have
of
to
this.
pay me more.
Or
And then,
threaten you, or threaten
Brent,
you.
are you looking for any jobs?
I know.
Any people? But yeah, for real. We want to put these people. We say it all the time. We're
Yeah.
doing it on this motherfucking episode. If you're hearing this and you don't have something on the screen that shows these people these names, call us out. We're gonna send you some free shit.
Well,
He's
somebody
gonna send you
already
some
called
free
me
shit.
out last.
And then-
Well, yeah. So we're putting it on Maria Consuelo.
Yeah, and then our accountant, she's called Angela Sierra Vargas. She's
Okay.
really good.
Okay.
And they're both great. They're both available.
English
for,
speaking,
Nah, they're both only Spanish.
Well,
but,
there you
they're
go.
good. They know what's up. I mean, it's,
but they
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what's up. So yeah, I don't know about you, but when I first came here, my accountant, which Andrew, eventually got to learn about and stuff when we joined forces.
right.
I hired some fucked up people, man. Listen, you're not just gonna come here and get an accountant. These are the type of podcasts and you have to reach out to people. I got fucked Like literally by two accountants.
No, I'm sorry.
Like they didn't do anything.
Yeah, you don't want to go with the first recommendation. Obviously, you want to talk to people like Brent or people that have done business here and say, hey, who do you recommend to be your accountant? Even like on Facebook, like someone might recommend your accountant because, for example, our second accountant was a recommendation from someone that has a business here and was saying that he was doing a good job.
Yeah.
And then we got that accountant and the guy was like unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. It was to the point where we had to handle shit ourselves. And then luckily now, I don't even know how we met our current accountant, Gabby.
Yeah, through another person. You refer the guy that has the project.
Oh yeah, through
Chef in Boston, no?
yeah, the chef in
Canadian
Boston,
chef.
yeah, the Canadian chef.
And he's pretty military. So when this guy said, "Hey, I have an accountant," if you're watching this, I'm calling you military. And he's like, I have an accountant. He told Andrew, and he's like, she's good. She does.
Well, he's a chef. He's a chef, so he's like, but he's like one of those rigid chefs, like fucking Gordon Ramsay type.
And he's
people.
a social
yeah.
chef.
Yeah.
Like he's not in it for the money. He's in it for what he's going to contribute to society. So he doesn't have a lot of money to pay her, as far as I know. But he said, and based on his personality, we're like, she's going to be good. And she's been like absolutely marvelous. So a lot of people watching this, man, they want to start business. They want to live here and whatever. So I think it's like really paying it forward is also telling them who's a good lawyer, who's a good accountant,
of course.
how not to get fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how to get fucked if you'd like.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
I don't have any advice.
I guess moving forward with the business topic, what is your method of, I guess, attracting clients? Do you do any marketing? Do you in the beginning? Did you do any like guerrilla type marketing?
Semi-nudes.
send nudes.
Send the dick pic.
Yeah,
Send
no,
the dick
no.
pic. Yeah.
There might be some of those floating around, but no.
We used to call it penis pic back in the day.
Well, I've lost phones where I had a bunch of dick pics
right?
on there
Like
too.
shit.
It's like, damn it, I didn't even shave my balls.
No, basically,
You didn't even shave the balls?
On some of those dick pics where I lost my phone on,
You've sent a dick pic without your balls shaved?
I might have.
nice.
That's
That's bold, man.
That's classy.
That is
Yeah,
that is
just
bold.
like-
that's classy.
But it was
Never-
to my groomer. Like,
to your,
this is what I need shaved.
bro, I need your help. My balls are hairy. Like, come on. Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah, never send. Moral of this whole podcast with Brent is never send a dick pic if you haven't shaved your balls.
Whoa.
Is that true?
Straight out of the horse's mouth.
Straight out of the Wandering Paisa's mouth. Shave your balls before you send a dick
All
pic.
right, so back to my question.
Back.
What kind of marketing do you do for the Wandering Paisa hostel?
And it's changed a lot.
Okay, so can you take us a little bit, I guess, a
Sure,
short ride through the evolution?
evolution of
evolution
hostel
of dance.
marketing.
Give us the evolution.
No. So basically, it started with Lonely Planet. It was big time. Oh,
Evolution of dance.
Lonely Planet.
It's
Lonely
dance.
Planet. Hey.
How come I don't know that song? This is dance. That's before my time. I'm a young one.
But anyways, we got lucky because 2012, the guy from Lonely Planet came to our hostel, and his favorite salsa club was a block from the hostel.
Called.
It's called T-Biddy.
It still exists.
T-Biddy still exists.
The one that where
on
it's
the
like
70.
underground. It's like a basement, right?
He had two favorites. There's T-Biddy and there's Sonavana. Both great places. They got live music. Awesome. So I recommend going to them if you're ever going to go to the 70, Laureles, that neighborhood. But basically, he loved the hostel. And we just got fortunate enough to get in there. We're in print, and we're still in print. Once you get in the Lonely Planet, it's been great.
You're never out. Once you're in, you're in.
As long as you don't like totally drop like the quality of your product, I think you're still in there. I mean, we've been in a lot of editions. So that was a big deal for us back then. But now everybody's all like smartphone, booking.com, Hostel World. And so Hostel World is probably the majority of our clients come from there. And Hostel World, they used to be...
Well, I have a fucking bone to pick with, and I will get to you after this.
Oh,
Go
we're
ahead.
probably on the same page about
ahead.
that. And Hostel World, great. You send us clients, Hostel World, but to get reservations, you have to raise the commission up to about 20-25%.
Yeah.
Because here's the little known secret about Hostel World, and they actually, I think because for some reason they have to be very transparent about it now, the top hostels you will see in any city on the first page of Hostel World are the ones that are giving the highest commission to Hostel World.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a fucking mafia.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, bro. They gotta make money.
No. But you're supposed. Hostel World is supposed to be at least unbiased. Like when you go as a
Wait,
traveler.
who says that?
But hold on. Yes, that's
It
the
used to
model.
be. It
That's
used
the
to be.
model.
It used to
like
be.
if you go on, you go based on customer reviews, right, of the place. You have a certain review based on, and you get
Right.
bumped to the top based on your rating.
But it's not like that anymore.
not like that anymore.
So we have higher ratings than a lot of other hostels, but because they are giving higher commission to Hostel World, maybe
Yeah.
25, I don't even know, maybe 30%. I don't even know what they're charging these days. They are listed higher than us. So we're like 87%, which is fine. You know, it's
a pretty good
that's
mark.
pretty good for like hostel.
For 9 years.
Yeah, for 9 years.
87% is
Yeah.
really good.
So we're good. But then I look at us and we're like number 10 on the page. And I'm like, what's going on? I see those other hostels. They're like 78%. I'm like, what's going on? And that's fine. You know, they're doing their thing, trying to get up there. But it's like, I don't think that's a fair way. And now Hostel World has had to be transparent is what I said about how they list that. And that's fine. But it's like, we actually won an award with Hostel World 2012 or 13. Because we won Best Hostel in Colombia. Shout out.
Really?
Yeah.
2012,
2012, yeah.
Wicked.
And they came and stayed in the hostel. They liked it. And it was just, they really liked that we were doing something different. And it was great. But, you know, it's funny because the year after that, people were like, oh, best hostel in Colombia. And, you know, we're fine. We're like a standard, you know, house converted into a backpacker's hostel. But we're not going to be anything like Brisa Loca where you have like a rooftop patio or anything like
We're
that.
like
don't
some
know
of the
that.
giant guys here, yeah.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Those guys have awesome places, but we're like a little bit more relaxed, kind of smaller vibe. So having that like award up there, we're like, maybe we'll flip it around. You know, now we have it out like front and center because it's like they were best hostel 2012.
It's intimidating.
But it was. So that's been something that's worked for us too. But now it's booking. Everything is booking.com. Big
Even
time.
hostels.
Even hostels. I never even thought. We weren't even
crazy.
on booking until the last
People
2
hated
years.
booking. Do you know why they hated booking?
Why?
I have my clients, because like I photographed your hostel. I photographed a lot of places.
Did a great job.
Booking.com would charge too high a commission.
Yeah.
So the biggest complaint was, Booking gives us 1%, but they charge a lot of commission. Now you're saying Booking is above Hostel World?
I actually prefer to work with Booking.
That's crazy.
Because their commission, you can boost it when you want, but still, like I think it's a lot less now to even still get reservations. We get a lot of reservations on Booking, and we're only giving them like 15 to maybe 18%.
That's still pretty damn. I mean,
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
but
a
like,
lot of money.
But Hostel World 25 to 30. We're
That's
like
fucking
we're
crazy.
like 20 on Hostel World right now, 20%, and that's to be just on the first page.
I think like a Selena type that have like 190 rooms.
Yeah.
If you're giving 25, if you have a place, it's a volume business.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a fan of volume business. Period.
Right.
I prefer to have 5 single rooms instead of 25. Dorms that you have to fill with 10 people each.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like you imagine giving up 25 fucking %. That's ludicrous.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
that's a
giving
lot of
20
money.
to Hostel World right now, just because if you want to get like, because there's like how many hostels are there in the city
There's a
now?
lot, yeah.
120 or something.
Easily.
More.
Easy.
I think there's more
Yeah,
than
exactly.
100.
There's now 20 something alone in Manila.
So we make up for it because get this: the person reserves for a day or two, and then they like the hostel. We bet on the fact that our product is good,
They'll continue.
and they'll
extend.
continue to stay there.
Right.
But then they pay direct.
And then they pay direct.
Okay.
And then without the commission, and it's for us, it's worth it.
So moving on to lifestyle here in Medellin, you live in Laureles.
I'm in Laureles.
You said that you feel somewhat safe here in Medellin.
I do,
Have
yes.
you ever been robbed?
Oh, this is the robbery segment.
Robbery segment. I got so many other questions I want to ask you, my friend.
All right. So which robbery story do we want?
Which
What, you've been robbed
robbery?
multiple times?
I've been robbed like 5 times.
Jesus
What?
Christ, man.
Wait, but you've been here 8 years, 5 times?
I can tell you why that's happening. Firstly, if Brent keeps on wearing the fucking blue t-shirt underneath the blue shirt, he's gonna get
You
robbed
gotta
every
show the
fucking time.
chest hairs.
Sure, look, that's why I don't rob me.
You gotta show
The chest hairs. I shave
He
mine.
might be onto something. I don't know. I mean, the worst was probably, my brother and I got robbed at gunpoint. Walking home, we were standing in Casa Kiwi. This is before we even started the hostel.
Yeah.
2 guys came out of the bushes, and this big guy grabs my wrist, and he's like, "No digas nada." And I'm like,
At least he
"Okay."
didn't grab your cock.
I know, right? And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not saying anything." And my wallet sprouted wings and flew into his hands so fast.
You mean you gave it up?
Yeah, man, he had a gun. What
That
are we-
gun.
And the funny thing is,
They could-
this happened in like maybe 2 minutes. It happened super fast. So we walk into the hostels, whatever, man, and somebody's like, "Oh, did you check to see if the gun was real?" And I'm like, oh yeah, what am I gonna do? Excuse me, sir, who's trying to rob me?
That says replica
Do
45.
you want
on
to
the
give an
side.
example? This guy could already,
Yeah.
like he was a big freaking guy. He
Yeah.
could have killed me, anyways.
Yeah.
But,
Were you wearing a blue t-shirt?
man, I don't remember, but probably. I probably was.
This is what the lawyers do. They fuck you up and then you plead guilty.
Exactly. He plead guilty. It's like, I got robbed and it was my fault.
Yeah, it was my fault. Yeah.
I
was going to rob him.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so that was back in 2010.
That number one of
that was,
5.
that was actually the day we bought the property that we have the hostel in. We were like, oh shit, is Colombia actually really dangerous?
And when's the last time you got robbed, Brent?
Actually, I haven't been robbed in about 4 or 5 years actually now. Yeah, I've been pretty good. I mean, I've had a couple bikes stolen,
I haven't been robbed in 4 or 5 years. I've been pretty good.
Well, no, I mean, when
But that's the bane of existence here with like everyone who has a bike here.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it's like there are things you can do, and my brother and I, we should not have been robbed first thing. But at the end of the day, there are things you can do to avoid those kind of situations.
Yeah.
And my brother and I, we could have walked right through Parque Lleras back to the Casa Kiwi hostel, no problem. But we wanted to walk around Parque Lleras because we wanted to take a different route.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, once you kind of internalize these certain things you need to do to be safe in Medellin, bad things probably won't happen to you.
Yeah.
And once I learned my street smarts here, like I've been here for 9 years almost, probably 5 years almost, maybe 4 or 5 without being robbed. That's pretty good.
Have you ever thought of that as like a side business, maybe like street smart classes? Like you come into like, you could probably charge more than a room price for that. Teach these guys, about the blue t-shirt, no watches.
blue t-shirt,
no. Teach them how to survive the streets,
But what's crazy is like, so we get people in the hostel. They're like, so what's the most dangerous area of town? And I'm like, okay, so they want to stay away from there. That's why they're asking me.
Oh, okay.
You know why they're asking me? Because they want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, so where's the sketch area? And I'm like, I don't know, like Barrio Antioquia.
What's that kind of, that's a kind of tourism. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's
What's it called?
dark tourism.
Dark tourist,
Dark tourist.
I
was born a dark tourist.
I like that show. I think it's pretty good,
Well, I
actually.
mean, but like Barrio Antioquia is actually not very dangerous.
No. But if you walk around there like 1 a.m., just like, I'm a gringo,
Yeah.
And so like these dudes, they try to walk to like the minorista from the hostel. They cross like right around the river.
Zero sympathy.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, man? And so sometimes when the guests ask like, what are the dangerous areas? I'm like, why do you want to know, man? Because are you going to go straight there?
Brent, we got to think about other money-making opportunities like documentaries and stuff like that, or like how to stay safe. Imagine that. You tell them a bad neighborhood and then you film them.
But it's funny because actually, your hostel is basically in Laureles.
Yes.
Not really in Laureles, but basically in Laureles.
Yeah, it's there.
Laureles, for the longest time, was actually called the most dangerous neighborhood by
Wow.
locals because, quote unquote, you can see me doing quotes here, but quote unquote, the rich live there. Therefore, they're the most worth robbing from.
Wow.
So a lot of people, for years, like going from, 2 blocks from their house, the McDonald's or Carulla or whatever, would get robbed.
But you know why?
Because
No, I'm gonna give you. I'll give you the perspective on as to what. Laureles, by the way, if you're gonna go live there, good for you.
Laureles.
Laureles.
It's hard to pronounce.
Laureles. If you're gonna go to Laureles,
The Laurels.
Here's the thing. I think that unlike a lot of other neighborhoods, it's one of the easiest places to get away.
Yep.
There's all of these sites. They like I can't even read an address. There's people that have lived here their entire life and they can't find an address there.
Yep,
Why? Because
I agree.
there's circulars and
There's one here
calles
right
and
now.
like avenidas, and you can just
there's one here right now.
hear what you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't figure the address
it's
out.
fucking
like you could
impossible.
like literally.
Yeah.
There's these like bike paths and parks and this and that. And if you have any sort of like a motorbike or whatever, you can get away from anyone. You can't catch anyone
Yeah,
there.
it's
Here
true.
it's like left, right, and it's like
And
blocked,
it's close to Robledo and the foot of the mountain where there's a lot of poverty and
Yeah.
many people come down to rob. It's the same thing with near the university there, UPB got that main strip there, so people get away real quick. When we had Kyle on the show,
Yeah.
he got robbed near UPB, literally right there near First Park. But anyway,
Where do you go shopping, Brent?
What, shopping?
Yeah, where do you go shop? Where do you buy your clothes?
in Medellin.
Listen, if anybody out there wants to get robbed, Brent's gonna give you some fashion advice as to where to buy. Where do you buy the clothes, Brent?
I buy my clothes at Macy's when I'm in town with my parents.
That's why you're getting robbed, you motherfucker. This is why you getting robbed.
Come in here with your imports.
5 times out of 8 years.
Hey, but it was 5 times with the first 3 years, and then after that,
Bro,
it was
you've
fine.
been here. Wait, you've been here 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's a 5 over 8. I don't know much math, but that's over 60% of the time you've been here. You've been robbed.
No, that I haven't been. I was robbed the first 3 years.
Oh,
and then all the 5 times in the first 3 years,
shit.
and then after that,
Yeah.
I mean,
then you became a
hipster.
hipster. You started shopping at the thrift
Well, I
shop.
start figuring it out, man.
You got a mustache.
Yeah. But
You got a beard. Yeah, I would not rob a guy with a beard.
No. The Colombian clothes I got, I actually have a decent amount of Colombian clothes, but that's from my girlfriend. Like every time it's like a birthday or anniversary, she's like, all right, here. And
Speaking of
gets me some good
which-
stuff.
Dude, wait. Did she give you the tight yellow underwear? Andrew used to have those. I remember, not that I know.
I call them Falcaos.
She has not gotten me tight yellow underwear yet,
Hey,
but
I'm not going to call your name, and I know your name. Buy Brent some tight yellow underwear with
For the New
Falcao's
Year's,
photo
for the New
on
Year.
the dick point.
But anyway, woo! Let's have a shot. Yellow underwear time.
With the SpongeBob underwear, right?
Well, do you know the tradition of on New Year's Eve wearing yellow underwear?
No, but I'll do it now.
But you know it's good luck to wear yellow underwear on New Year's Eve in Colombia. That's like
And
the
have
thing.
sex? Or just...
No. It's
No
just
sex.
yellow underwear.
No
It's
sex
yellow
in
underwear.
Colombia.
There's a
sex.
lot of
Okay.
different rituals or different like superstition. I don't know. I guess like traditions where like if you've got like lentils in your pocket at midnight.
Yeah, I know the lentils in the pocket.
What
I have
about
not
the,
heard of the
Never
yellow
had a
underwear.
lentil in my pocket.
What about the 12 grapes
Maybe
at
my little
midnight?
lentil.
You eat 12 grapes and you make 12 wishes.
Sounds hot.
Running with the back.
Yeah, you grab
Running
your
with a backpack?
No, your
No,
suitcase,
yeah,
your
the
suitcase.
suitcase.
Oh, because that's called robbery. You can't run
You
with the
grab your
backpack.
suitcase and you run around the block with your suitcase. It means that you're gonna have more travel, more visits to other countries in the next year.
Motherfuckers, I'm not running around any
So
block
imagine,
with a suitcase.
so
I'm
imagine
gonna
my
get killed.
parents. So imagine in California, we started off obviously as poor immigrants in like Anaheim, Santa Ana. And then my parents got money. They started a business and they made money. And then we moved out to these suburbs, and we'd have our Christmas parties or the New Year's parties at our place, and a bunch of white people watching a bunch of Colombians run around the block
Jesus.
with suitcases.
Oh, hell
They're
no.
like thinking like, what?
I'm
the
calling
fuck's
ICE
going
at
on?
that point. I'm like, ICE,
This
baby,
was-
come through and get this motherfucker.
Yeah. This was pre-ice. Pre-ice.
Oh, pre-ice.
This was pre-ice.
The pre-ice era. There's like, what's that pre-Jesus? What's it called? BC?
BC, yeah.
We got the PI, wait,
All right. So
Before
fuck,
all right, Brent.
It's like Colombia.
Colombia.
You heard about that?
Colombia.
It's Colombia, not Columbia.
Exactly.
yeah, it's not Colombia. Please,
Pre-ice.
Please pronounce.
Yo, so
right.
wait, I know where Andrew is going. Talk about the dating, Brent. I mean, you got some dating questions. Didn't you want to ask him some dating questions today?
What specifically?
Well,
What
well,
specifically?
I know Joel and I
What
kill it
specifically?
on Tinder. By the way, we don't. But before I know that you have a girlfriend right now.
Yeah.
Before
Don't talk
you met your girlfriend, what was your dating life like? Were you relying on your social circle? Were you doing apps or anything like that?
For basically the first year of the hostel, I didn't even date anybody. My girlfriend was the hostel. I mean, it was just like I didn't have time. And after that, I started dating somebody I met in the hostel. I mean, pretty much every girl I've ever dated, I met in the hostel.
To do that social circle there.
Yeah, just that social circle. I was on Colombian Cupid for like maybe 2 months or something like that. Just
You
for
ever
fun.
masturbated in the hostel?
Have I ever jerked in the I've never had sex in the hostel. Why would
But
I jerk in
jerking
the
is
hostel?
different. Would you jerk? Like, I mean, you said your girlfriend was the hostel, so technically you don't have to
Make
insert.
love to your hostel.
And there's no STDs. You just jerk off against a mirror in your hostel.
Nah,
You're
man,
good.
it was weird. I mean, I definitely lived in the hostel, but I lived in the dorms.
Okay.
And I did not jerk in the hostel, but it's definitely, I knew it was time to leave the hostel.
When you thought about it?
No.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, I had already thought about it earlier. But when a
Okay.
couple had sex on a bed above me being the owner, that is a fucking disrespect.
that is
right there.
disrespectful.
I'm just like, come on, guys, man. I mean, we're in the nice room here, and I had to sleep in the Bolivia room. That's like the really small, cheap one, you know.
Of course, he was in the Bolivia room as people are banging on top of his head, and he's in a fucking blue T-shirt and another shirt on top of the shirt.
I like this
Oh,
blue T-shirt action
shit.
going
I
on.
love the fucking blue T-shirt.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't know. It's just before I met Anna, my current girlfriend. She's awesome.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Gosh,
Anna.
this
There's
was,
not a lot of men that would mention a
Yo, they
girlfriend
call
on
me the
podcast.
Colombian Cupid.
He was her teacher.
Oh, really?
She came to the hostel because
Yeah,
of her
she was.
cousin, yeah.
Well, by the way, Anna, I'm saying this on camera. You were the worst student. Well, you were the worst best student.
Wait, they call you the Colombian Cupid?
Yeah, because I hooked them up. So, anyway, Anna was
News
my
to
student.
me.
Anna was my student when I was teaching.
Yeah.
And she was so. How do I put this?
Politely, the man's girlfriend's here.
How do I put this, Brent? She was so hyperactive. So hyperactive that I had to put a desk at the door so she wouldn't leave the room.
Wow.
Yes, that sounds like her.
Yeah. So I literally, and she told me, teacher, you're the first person that has ever done that. So I'm going to sit down now.
Wow.
It worked.
It worked.
Wow. Do you have like a book press at the door by your house? Or
Yeah.
what the fuck
Well, I didn't put up with that shit. When I was a teacher, I was like, this is not a democracy. I'm the fucking dictator. She kept getting up to go to the bathroom like every 15 minutes. So I put a desk right there and I'm like, Anna, you're not going anywhere. You're going to pee your pants. All I care.
This is the Anna story, by the way.
Yeah. And then, so she sat down and learned English, and she's an amazing teacher now. She's a teacher now.
Yeah, she's big time teacher.
Yeah,
Blended.
she's
How long
like,
have you guys been together?
We've been together we'll be 4 years in about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Shit. That's a long time, man.
so what is it like dating a Colombian woman?
It's interesting because Anna's very different from most Colombian women. I'd say she's like kind of the best of both worlds.
Okay.
She's independent enough, but not in like a way that feels like too, the United States style where it's like, so independent where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like me and her are both very equal in the relationship, which is something I really like. She's very cumplida, which means she arrives on time, which is great because like other girls that I dated, it's like, yeah, let's make plans at 7. They show up at like 10, or they're just like, I got busy.
And drop the K pena.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
K-Pena.
K-Pena.
It's BS, man. And I realized she did something different. I mean, she has a very open mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Casablanca with her. What Colombian woman is going to watch Casablanca? This is a black and white movie. Humphrey Bogart from a million years ago.
Was she sleeping?
She did not fall asleep.
Okay, that's cool.
I fell
That's a
asleep
keeper.
through it.
I mean, for her,
I'd sleep.
like for her, movies in the 90s are like ancient, So like,
Casablanca.
Yo, we heard this. So we met this guy yesterday. He's 36 years old. He's in the web. We're not calling names. He's in the webcam business of setting up webcams and stuff. And his girl, 36, his girl's 19. And there's
Wait. You got to say that slower because people can't.
36. And
He's 36.
19. And she's
He's 36.
She's
His
19.
girlfriend's
She's
19.
19.
Okay.
Yeah.
a beautiful girl, and they're sitting there. They're laying there, doing pillow toqueando, and they're pillow talking. And she looks at him dead in the face, and she said, "Were movies in color when you were a kid?"
oh my
And
God.
he's 36.
He's 36, and this motherfucker said, he goes, "Were movies in color?" He said he had to get up and leave the room because he felt so humiliated.
Nah, I mean,
And she's like, "Wait, what?"
So
Anyways,
Anna basically thought that she was watching a movie from your era.
yeah.
no, Casablanca, no. No, she's very, like, honestly, man, she's very
Oh, let's do a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, we already.
Oh, okay. Shots up.
We got no more shooting.
Ayo, Brent. Describe Anna.
Got a drop.
Brent got a droplet. Yo, Brent, describe Anna in 3 words.
The 3 words, I'd say she's very mature.
That's 3. You're done.
Oh, mature. Okay.
She's mature?
I say she's very easy.
No, okay.
No, mature. No adjectives.
Mature, beautiful, and funny.
Oh,
She's very funny. I
would agree with that.
I like funny
I don't know about
women.
you.
Yeah. Funny women?
Yeah, I like women that are funny.
like-
She's got a great personality. She's obviously very physically attractive. you
Yeah.
know?
So, Brent, are you gonna get married anytime soon?
We'll see what happens, man. I mean, me and her are basically just kind of going with the flow.
Kicking it.
I mean, like everybody here in Colombia is like, "Oh, you're over 20, time to get married." But she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. We'll see what happens.
She's 21?
She's 21. Jeez. No,
I don't know. You said she's over 20.
No. But I mean, people in their 20s. She's 20. I think 20, 23. Going to be
How
24.
dare you?
No, she's
How
she's
dare
23.
you.
She's going to be 24.
Okay, she's a grown up.
Yeah, she's grown up.
All right. And do you plan on having kids though?
I wouldn't be against the idea of having kids. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like being responsible for somebody besides myself is kind of overwhelming, but that kind of stuff gets figured out.
The
So
size of yourself?
the size of myself.
Wow.
My brother has a kid right now. Shout out to Miles and Elizabeth.
Yeah, I saw that.
They
That's
have
amazing.
a child. His name is Hendrix. He just learned to crawl 8 months in. It's pretty awesome. So,
Yep.
I'm really excited about that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. I mean, I could have kids.
My best Miles story, by the way.
Yeah.
I only have a couple, but
Your milestone?
a Miles story.
My brother's name is Miles.
Yeah, the
It's
best
milestone,
Miles
though.
story was
I'm gonna drink this droplet.
Drink
it
the
was his
droplet.
bachelor party, and we went downtown. Remember?
Can we say this?
I was never there.
Elizabeth doesn't care. She
So
doesn't.
Elizabeth, we went downtown, and it was to the infamous bar where girls put lollipops in their booties.
I seen it.
But
I wasn't there. Anna, I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
yeah, you were there for sure. Anyway, I went to the bathroom, and I clogged the toilet. Like
In a strip club?
yeah, bad. Like
In
bad.
a strip club? You clogged the toilet in a strip?
Bad.
Only Andrew Macia could clog the toilet in a
I
strip
clogged
club.
the toilet, and I came back.
He's athletic. He can run.
And I came back to the table, and it looked very much like this. And they were watching, and we are like, oh,
Wait, they
drinking.
were watching the toilet?
No, and they were drinking, and so I did a shot and everything. And then Miles goes to the bathroom, and then he comes back, like with an astonished look. He's like, "Did you guys see what happened in the toilet?" And I'm like, "No." And he saw it must have been the other American dude in here. You're the only American dude. He literally snuffed me out. He snuffed me out. He's like, it must have been the other American dude that fucking clogged the toilet. And I'm like,
Yo,
Wait.
I can't even get it. I can't get it. So Andrew has so many club. Hey, we gotta do a whole segment on Andrew clogging club toilets. His own brother. I'm gonna fast forward really fast. He told his brother he was coming out of La Ruana de Juana's toilet,
Love that place.
and he told Franco was like, "I gotta use the bathroom so bad." He's like, "Don't go in there. Don't go in there." And Franco's like, "Fuck it, I gotta use the bathroom." And he runs into the bathroom, and I'm outside, and all I hear is, "Ah!" And he threw up. Because he walked into the bathroom that Andrew was in and it didn't flush.
yeah. But
In
now
a
since
club.
ever
Now he's a
since
matured man.
no, I became a vegan. Now my poops come out all
What's the thing, man? Your circadian rhythm's all fucked up if you're trying to poop in the
say
middle of a
what
dance
now?
club.
Circadians?
Well, the circadian rhythm, that's the
See,
time you
every
pee.
podcast,
learn
people
something
keep circadian rhythms. That's that animal
Is
in
that
the
your
forest.
bowel movement rhythm?
Yeah, it's your bowel movement rhythm.
Oh,
But like,
okay.
if you're pooping in the middle of like the club, man, like there's something wrong. Because I always, before I go out, I make sure I get my business
you're-
taken care of.
Brent, you're like our most like matured, polite guest. We are like literally like 3 hours into filming and you're talking about pooping. You know you can use like adult words on this motherfucker.
He's taking a shit.
I was in there taking a shit when you can't.
But I mean, that's always my plan. Friday night, man, if I gotta poop before I go out.
Can we go shit at your hostel?
Yeah, of course, man.
I've done it many times.
I have taken a shit at the hostel before.
Yeah. No, the worst was when
Yeah.
the hostel vent was going into like
Oh
the,
my god! Andrew used to take a dump every night
Okay.
at your karaoke.
So here's the crazy thing. So we have a bathroom in the same room as the bar. And basically, that's the bathroom for urinating. I don't know what you're doing if you're pooping in there in the middle of a karaoke night because, for, number one, there's literally probably 50
Why
people.
don't you put a fucking Febreze in there?
Yeah,
I've been in
once,
there so
like,
many
because
times.
people should
Where's
know.
the Febreze?
If you're gonna poop, you should go use one of these. We have like 6 bathrooms. We have
Nobody
6
knows
crappers.
that.
So it's like you poop literally
You know
in
what's
the.
so fucking funny? The vent goes out like this and into your face. Because you sit there on your little fucking mic talking, and I see the vent, and it just streams in like
Yeah, right into my face, and I'm working. I gotta
thought
deal
you
with
were
it.
smiling, but you're like,
Yeah, no, it's not a smile. It's that emoji. The emoji of the.
All right, so
Andrew's
if you
in there
ever go
smiling.
into the Wandering Paisa hostel,
Don't
take
use
a
the bar
dump
bathroom.
In reception. Yeah, don't use that bar bathroom. Anyway, I guess closing
Closing.
comments,
I don't wanna
closing
close.
questions,
I don't wanna
closing questions. Brent, first of all, thank you for being on the podcast. I think it's been amazing. I think we've learned a lot about owning a hostel and
Yeah.
taking dumps and having sex in hostels.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So my last question is, what do you think about R. Kelly peeing on women? Do you think he's guilty or
yeah,
not guilty?
for real.
100% guilty. So
Why?
I put him in the category of like MJ. I love MJ. I love R. Kelly. Grew up listening to their music.
Better not be fucking talking
Wait.
about Michael
Hold on.
Jackson like that on this show.
I love those guys, but they have been accused of some fucked up shit.
So has Felipe, but we don't judge
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't judge the person.
That's why I end up working here.
Exactly. I listen to music. I still love it. I still listen to R. Kelly, man. I'll put it on, man. Like if Anna comes over, we're gonna have some fun. Put on some R. Kelly.
Do you ever pee on her?
I do not. I've not gotten to that level yet.
Why not?
All right, so finish this lyric. Hot and fresh out the kitchen.
Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. Sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what? I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some.
Okay, he's an R. Kelly.
Yo,
fan.
I'm like,
He's an R. Kelly
I'm
fan,
straight
for
and I got an erection.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Whoa. We on the podcast now.
Yo, so we gotta do this again because, yeah, we gotta just do it again because we.
Well,
can't.
I have a lot more questions, but we have a limited time, obviously.
We're famous.
Apart from your love of R. Kelly,
His music, not the man. And
no, you love him,
And peeing.
and Michael Vick and his dogfighting.
A little bit of dog fight and peeing never hurt nobody.
Anyway, would you have any advice for someone that wants to come to Colombia and start a business? Maybe not a hostel, but anything.
there are a lot of really great opportunities in Medellin. I mean, obviously the hostel is very competitive right now, but I've seen my friends. I mean, you're wearing the hat, La Fon Medellin. There's another Medellin clothing brand that's been very successful as well. Cafe Revolution. So there's a lot of different things you can get into. I wouldn't recommend a hostel, but like Medellin's a great environment for starting new businesses just because they're very friendly to U.S. business. So
Yeah,
But would you? Okay, so do you deem it a place worthy of exploring for a new business if you're like a startup or whatever?
100%.
Okay.
right now.
Right now, yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, look at Rob. He came here 2 years ago, and that Medellin
He's
thing's
expanding.
everywhere.
He's expanding. Yeah.
He's got 3 stores now. I mean, he's doing great. There's you just have to think of something, that nobody else is doing and do it well.
Yeah, we got a few of those ideas up our sleeves. If you want to hit us up for a business consultation, we will charge your ass really deeply, and we will give you those ideas.
Nice.
I think we should do that. Investmedellin.com. Watch, it's coming soon.
So if people are visiting Medellin and you guys want to stay at Brent's Hostel, which was voted #1 at recently, well, how could they find you?
They can find us on Instagram, Wandering Paisa Hostel Official. They can find us on Facebook, Wandering Paisa Hostel. That's basically it. And, we're on Hostel World. We're in the Lonely Planet. We're the #1 one right now on Lonely Planet. If you go to Medellin Hostels, we're the first one that appears.
And your personal Instagram is X porn star with the deep voice.
Yeah.
At
No, it's Brent C. Knowles.
Brent C. Knowles.
Brent C. Knowles, yeah.
And Brent knows.
And even if you are not staying at his hostel and want to go to one of the events, just look up language exchange or karaoke night in Medellin. You'll find it, the Wandering Paisa.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Spotify, on Google Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, and pretty much any podcast platform that you use. On YouTube, obviously, because you're watching the video. If you're not watching the video, you should watch it because we're very, very good looking.
Okay. And I got
What?
all different platforms. And my one little bit of advice, because I'm becoming a fucking guru at advice and shit, is if you do want to get robbed, wear a blue t-shirt. Like that shade of blue. I don't even know what you call that shit. Like
That's a,
seawater?
no, that's a twilight blue.
Twilight blue t-shirt. Underneath your blue t-shirt, you will get robbed. See you later, motherfuckers. See you on episode 20.
Thank you.
Woo!
That was good. I love it, man.